There really was those two type of guys, those two type of personalities. And I'll tell you this, the guys that were ready to kill, they don't last. They don't last because people say, I'm not going to worry about this guy. He's too quick with the trigger. You know, one thing that I learned, if you're a captain in that family, you know, and I want to clear this up too, murder was taken very seriously in that life. We weren't random killers. We didn't do drive-by shootings. We weren't allowed to do that stuff. We didn't do it. Any murder in that life had to be sanctioned by the boss. That was it. Had to be sanctioned by the boss. There was discussion about it. Some people were for it, some people were against it, and then a ruling was made. And, you know, I always thought about this. I said, look, this life is like a wheel. It turns around. You know, one day, if I'm sitting there, you know, giving a vote, deciding the fate of somebody, I want to be hesitant. I'm not going to be the one to say right away, let's do this or let's do that, or you know, put a death warrant on this guy, because it might be me sitting there one day. It might be me that they're deciding upon one day, and I want to be known to be the guy that said, let's really discuss this. Let's wait. Let's see. And you know, I think in the end that served me well, because I had an experience where I was brought into a room one night. I didn't know if I was going to walk out. An experience that prepared me for walking away later on, because honestly, I learned through that experience that I could face death.
Because they were suspicious that you were up to...
Yeah. I mean, I was called into a room under some very bad circumstances, and the way the setup was...
What was the story?
You know, look, making a lot of money in the gas business, you know, and word was getting out, and like I said, my boss was going after finding some people, seeing if I was turning in enough money and all this kind of stuff. I'm turning in millions, you know. Story came out that I was making billions. You know, my attitude would have been, well, so what? He's taking all the risk, he's doing this, he's making me wealthy. What do I care? But it's not like that with everybody. So, you know, I think, you know, when I look at it, they wanted to put a scare into me. Maybe it was serious, more than I thought afterwards. I don't know.
But you know, from experience, walking into a room like that.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. It was about a 30-yard walk from the car that I get out of to the basement of apartment or room. It was a private house, but we had to go into the basement down the steps. And it was late at night. It was a summer night. I can tell you this. The way it lined up, I said, I'm dead.